Hey, welcome to episode 5 of the Mark and Mitch Show. I'm Mark Strigl, joined by Rock Talks Mitch Lafon. Mitch, how are you?
Good. I brought my fan with me today. I've got
I
one.
see that. I see that.
I've always got one fan on hand. It's important.
Nice. All right. So anyways, we're going to get into a discussion today about the Dio Hologram. There's been some videos that hit Blabbermouth recently.
Yep.
And, this is an iconic performer, one of the innovators and godfathers of heavy metal and hard rock music. A lot of controversy about the Dio Hologram. There are some people who are very excited to see it. There are some people who think that this should not be done. We should let Ronnie rest in peace. Initial thoughts, Mitch?
Well, listen.
Yeah.
First off, it is coming from Wendy Dio and the
Right.
Dio sort of family. So it's not like it's just some strangers who put together this random show. So there is sort of a legitimacy there, or there is a legitimacy there rendered by Wendy being involved. The other thoughts that I have is that I like the fact that they're using a live band and they're just sort of having a track, Ronnie's voice going along. Because, listen, there's a lot of bands out there right now that are doing that with the use of a real person and not a hologram. They're having people sing
Right.
to tape. And the music endures. And I like the fact that that's going on. The one thing that sort of I found creepy of the videos I watched was sort of had the crowd participation moments with Ronnie, because there seems to be a disconnect between the crowd going, yeah, to a hologram. That
Yeah.
I think they could probably forego that and just have the songs be delivered. And again, the live band is interesting, because had they done a whole hologram show and made sort of like this Disney spectacular, I might have sort of rolled my eyes. But there's real band playing along, so it's not that strange. And they do
Right.
have 2 live singers as well. So folks think that
Right.
it's 2 hours of just a hologram. It's not. You've got Oni Logan coming in there doing some songs. You've got Tim Ripper Owens doing some songs. You've got Tim and Oni doing songs. So, it's a spectacle. And
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with that. And listen, we know that there are bands right now in arenas that are piping in vocals. And
Yeah,
so,
that's true. And I thought of that when I was watching the clips and heard how great Ronnie's voice sounded on these clips. And, maybe this is a controversial thing to say, but I personally believe that when I saw Ronnie in, say, the last 5 years of his life, that his vocals weren't quite as powerful, because I've seen Ronnie many times through the years. And, those last few times I saw him with Heaven and Hell, I felt like there wasn't the strength that he had in the live setting. That's just my opinion. Some people disagree. I do think whatever vocal tracks they chose for the clips that I heard on YouTube from this recent hologram performance, they sounded just awesome. Ronnie in his prime. I don't know if they are all from one certain performance or they cobbled them together from different performances, but they sounded great. I will say I saw one camera angle on YouTube where it was kind of like real close, and the band was like right in your face. It looked like whoever shot it was right in the front row, and I felt like that didn't look that good because it was almost too close to the hologram, and I could see that it was a recreation. This hologram is not actual footage of Ronnie. It's animated. It's created from scratch. So this isn't like they took a certain performance of Ronnie's and somehow made it a hologram. This is them recreating Ronnie's move through hologram animation. So it's almost like a cartoon. They're making this character, and I felt like up close, I was like, oh, the hair doesn't look exactly right. There's certain things that don't look perfect to me. Whereas the wider angle shot that the Dio Disciples had put on their Facebook page, I thought that looked cool. So I'm always the guy who wants to be in the front row at these concerts. However, I'm feeling that when the Dio Hologram tour comes to the Northeast here, I'm feeling I may want to actually be sitting back a little bit instead of right up front.
You know what? But I feel the same way in terms of a Motley Crue concert or a Kiss concert. I've been in the front row, and there's just so much going over your head
Right.
that you miss it. To really appreciate a Motley Crue show or a Kiss show, you need to have some distance to see the spectacle. So, it's the same thing here. Now, the interesting point that you brought up is that it's an animated or a cartoon
Yes.
Ronnie. I didn't know that. I actually thought that
Yes.
they had gone through the archives and picked video footage.
No.
So that's interesting that they would recreate him like that.
Yeah, it's technically animation. I mean, and it looks like a real video, especially if you're sitting back a little bit. But it's technically animation. His moves, everything, they've studied those moves and they've recreated them. So this isn't actual footage of Ronnie. The vocal track is actual Ronnie singing, obviously, but the images you're seeing are Ronnie recreated. And the other thing, I started picking it apart a little bit. And the one thing I noticed about the clips that I saw was this thing. He was holding the mic like this, and even when there would be like a little guitar solo or interlude or something, the mic wouldn't move his face. He was still holding it there, and when he was doing his moves and stuff, the mic was stationary. His arm was stationary with the mic, and that just seemed a little unnatural to me. And it actually caused me to go back and watch actual clips of Ronnie performing for real on YouTube. And he would swing the mic. He did the Roger Daltrey thing with the mic in that famous Spectrum show in Philadelphia with Vivian on guitar. He definitely moved. He jumped. I don't know. I felt like his movements weren't quite perfect
Do you
yet.
think that's
maybe
technical?
I'm being hypercritical.
Is that something that just technically they can't do with the hologram yet, or is it just they haven't sort of finessed the performance yet? They haven't thought of those details that fans are going to start.
I think that it was a technical thing. I think they've probably really studied it because his moves definitely look like Ronnie, but I felt like it's more work to have his arm come down. It's more animation. It's probably more money to the more movement they give the guy. So I don't know. I just felt like, guys, when you watch the clips, comment in the comments section if you think I'm wrong. But I felt like it was awkward. I don't know if it's his left or right hand, but he's holding the mic, and even when he's moving around, like his arm and the microphone weren't moving. It felt not natural to me, and it kind of gave away that, hey, this is a hologram. Maybe I'm being hypercritical, looking a little too much at it, and maybe they're still fine-tuning it. But that was just something that to me seemed a little weird. Like even during the guitar solo on the King of Rock and Roll, like it was a long period of time where his arm didn't move and the mic was still up at his mouth. Think about it. If you're performing, that mic's going to come down. It's going to go back in the mic stand. I don't know. I don't know. So maybe there are limits to what the hologram can do. And this also may play into why it's only going to be 7 or 8 songs with the hologram and not a full show. So again, my verdict is still out. I think that it has to be judged in the live setting. As we know, these YouTube clips probably don't reflect the vibe of the room, the excitement in the room, and the overall feel of what's going on there at the concert. Yeah. So my verdict is still out. I want this to work. I think there are good people involved. I think Jeff Pizzuti, who's the head of the company that's making this hologram, I think his heart's in the right place. And he's a massive fan of Dio and wants to do Dio right. So let's see. I hope the tour comes through the States. And I think Oni and Ripper involved singing songs live. I think that's great. I mean, I'd go see that Dio Disciples concert even without, and I have even without the hologram.
Yeah, I mean it's Dio Disciples with a bonus Ronnie presence, and
right.
We'll see. Do you think that this is something that's going to take over? I mean, are we going to have hologram tours by the Eagles and Kiss and the Doors and Janis Joplin and the Beatles? I mean, is this going to set off I mean, are we going to go to Las Vegas and have the Beatles hologram Vegas residency? Is that something that you see happening, or is this, one band giving it a shot and it'll end here?
I think it has great potential, especially as the technology advances and it gets better. Because let's face it, this is the beginning of this. This is the beginning stages of this. So me complaining about Dio's arm not moving, they're going to work all that out. I think this is going to get better. I think it's going to get more exciting. And yes, to answer your question, I think this could become something really big and special. I mean, even imagine like a band like Kiss or the Eagles or something on stage, and suddenly the younger versions of them appear on stage with them or something like that. I think you could do some really amazing stuff with this once you have some creative thinking involved. I think there's a lot of different places it can go.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
but I do think that it's going to be a boon for casinos and showrooms in Vegas, because I think we're going to see a lot of these. And I'm not disparaging by saying that. I think that it's just going to be one of those cost-effective, fun things for like a Vegas casino to run. I mean, the Beatles, the history of the Beatles in hologram, and you see John and Paul get older and all the songs. I'm sure that would be fantastic. And so, good for this company giving it. What's the company's name again, by the way? Illusion or something like that?
Illusion, yeah.
Hey, so good on them for giving this a shot. And so far, so good. But let's get rid of the crowd participation part with the hologram. That sort of seemed a little disingenuous to have, hologram Ronnie going, hey, 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 and it's like, okay,
right,
but
yeah. I agree.
I love the fact that the music endures and lives on, and we'll talk about enduring music on the next one, I think.
Yeah, and that's the important point. The music needs to live on, and this is a great way to do it. And we can talk about that more in a future episode. For me, the verdict's still out, and I'm rooting for it. I hope the Dio hologram becomes something really special and is something that the fans can really enjoy.
Yeah, and listen, they get, 3/4 of a live show with the Dio disciples, so it's not like you're...
With Craig Goldie, longtime Dio guitarist, going way back to the Dream Evil.
And Simon is there. No,
yep.
It's fine.
Yeah.
There we go. Our verdict is that we approve, I think.
Yes, sure.
We approve. Just there's a few things that we would clean up, but 9 on 10, 8 on 10. 8 on 10.
Yeah, and again, we haven't seen it live. We're judging off of YouTube clips, which is probably not the fairest
it's not fair at all.
to judge this off of. I think you have to experience it live, and once we both do that, we should come back and talk about it again.
By the way, look, just quickly, do you think that this is something that could be brought to festivals, or does it really need sort of that indoor kind of... I mean, could you see this at a Heavy Montreal, or... I mean, I know they did Whackin', but could that be something...
I think so. Yes. I mean, we saw that with, totally different genre, but with hip hop when they brought Tupac out at what's the big festival out there in California, the Coachella. And the place went crazy. Again, I think the further back you are, this might even look a little better. You don't want to be up close. So I think festivals are a great venue and stage for this, for sure.
Wow, I can't wait. And hopefully someday they'll think of the Bon Scott hologram.
Yeah, there you go. Would be cool.
That'd be cool.
I love that. Yeah, even at an AC/DC show, the future of AC/DC, that's a whole nother episode. But in this Axl version of AC/DC, maybe Axl steps aside for 2 songs, and there's the hologram that comes out. I'll end on this note. I saw Queen with Adam Lambert. I was very disappointed in the show. The best moment was when they had Freddie come up on the screens and just sing with Brian May. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see Freddie as a hologram. Because
it's going to happen. It's going to be all over Vegas. The history of Queen, the history of AC/DC, all through hologram. I can see it. In 5 years from now, it's going to be the norm, I bet. I guarantee it.
Cool.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Mitch. We'll see you guys next time. Be sure to catch Mitch on iTunes and Podcast One.
Yep.
And I'm on Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Talking Metal podcast is available on iTunes and Spreaker and iHeartRadio. Check me out there. Check out talkingrock.net, a new site that we are currently setting up. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next time.